welcome to the West Asia Post. I am Rhythm Sharma, bringing you all the developments from a region ravaged by an escalating war. Trump says Iran's military is destroyed. US is winning the war. But is that the reality? Iran continues to inflict pain, firing regular missiles at Israeli and US bases. We decode Israel's new death penalty law for only one race, the Palestinians. The outrage is growing worldwide. Global leaders and human rights bodies say the law could amount to apartheid. We also tell you how Houthis have now joined the Iran war. The group is firing missiles at Israel and threatening to close the critical Red Sea Strait. All this is lined up, but first, the headlines. A war launched to destroy Iran. Instead, it may have strengthened it. Over 30 days of relentless bombing by US and Israel, thousands of strikes, and yet Tehran continues to strike back hard. The conflict is intense, relentless, and far from one-sided. Our story takes a look at how the war meant to break Iran could hand it something it never really had before: the power to control Hormuz and a leverage over the entire world. Take a look.
It began as a shock campaign. On the 28th of February 2026, the United States and Israel launched one of the most concentrated aerial assaults in modern military history. The target was Iran. The goal was to dismantle its nuclear program, shatter its military, and topple the Iranian regime. Now, more than 30 days on, the bombs are still falling, but so are Iranian missiles. From day one of the war, the US has been claiming that it is winning the war.
Iran cannot outlast us. We are going to ensure, through violence of action and our offensive capabilities.
But everybody said the same thing: make sure you win. We will. We've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough.
You never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
I want to begin by just saying we're doing extremely well in Iran.
Have no Navy left. They have no Air Force left. They have no anti-aircraft equipment left. No radar left. No leaders left.
When I tell you we're winning so big, nobody's ever seen anything like we're doing in the Middle East with Iran.
The premise of the war is now being questioned. It was expected to degrade Iran's ability to respond. Instead, Iran continues to fire, signaling endurance. Its arsenal remains diverse: ballistic missiles for range, cruise missiles for accuracy, drones for persistence, and launch systems are dispersed, making them harder to eliminate. Even under pressure, the Iranian military retains the firepower to inflict pain.
The State of Israel and the United States are hunting its missiles to missile launchers, but of course, many of the missiles are stored underground or in mountains, and they are still hidden there, and they're still firing at Israel and all the other countries. So yes, Iran does have a capable missile force.
Iran has shifted its strategy. It is no longer about volume. It is about surgical devastation. Targeted barrages of heavy missiles are punching through sophisticated air defenses, leaving US military outposts in ruins and sending shockwaves through Israeli urban centers. Gulf states now find themselves standing on the front line of a war they didn't start and cannot finish. They fear that they will be left to pay the price for a conflict that leaves their cities exposed and their northern neighbor more dangerous than ever. Donald Trump offers assurance for the Gulf countries.
And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form.
Trump has indicated the war could end within weeks, even without a formal deal. But ending without terms carries risk. A ceasefire without agreement could leave Iran with intact capabilities and renewed confidence. It could claim survival as victory. It could retain leverage over energy corridors, and it could emerge more assertive in the region. This war was meant to weaken Tehran. Instead, it may be revealing how difficult that goal is. In West Asia, outcomes are rarely simple, and this conflict may end not with a resolution, but with a stronger, more entrenched Iran.
In southern Lebanon, Hezbollah has stepped up its attacks on Israeli defense forces. The group is targeting Israel's armored tanks with precision-guided missiles and now FVP drone capable of striking weak points. The battlefield is shifting from heavy firepower to high-accuracy warfare, suggesting a calculated and technologically advanced strategy. The war is no longer just about territory. It is about who adapts faster. Our report tells you more.
This is not a routine border clash. This is a rapidly evolving battlefield. Hezbollah is now directly targeting the core of Israel Defense Forces ground power, its armored units. In just days, multiple strikes have been reported on Israeli Merkava tanks. Military bulldozers and vehicles have also been hit. At the center of Hezbollah's strategy are advanced anti-tank weapons, systems like the Cornet and the Almaz missile. These are designed to break through heavy armor. But the bigger shift is happening in the air. FPV drones, small machines, remote-controlled and carrying explosives. They can track a moving target, they can strike weak points, and they can film the impact. Some are even using fiber optic links, which makes them hard to jam or stop. This is the same tactic that proved deadly in the Russia-Ukraine war. Now it has arrived in Lebanon. For Israel, this creates a serious challenge. A tank does not need to be destroyed to be neutralized. Even damage can take it out of the fight. Repairs are slow, replacements are limited, and the pressure builds over time. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says they are eliminating Hezbollah targets in Lebanon.
In Lebanon, I have just instructed to further expand the existing security zone in order to decisively thwart the threat of invasion and to push anti-tank missile fire away from our border.
On the ground, the cost is already visible. Israeli soldiers have been killed in clashes in southern Lebanon. The front line is active. Israel has pushed into southern Lebanon. It has taken positions in border villages. Lebanese people say they want the Iran war to end, as over 1,300 have been killed and over 1 million displaced.
We want a final resolution. We don't want a war every year, a war every 2 months, and then we go back. Israel should withdraw. The people are a little tired, but they are still enduring. We want the war to end once and for all.
Hezbollah is fighting a different kind of war. Hit-and-run attacks, hidden infrastructure, precision strikes with modern tech. This is now a hybrid conflict, part conventional war, part guerrilla strategy.
The war in West Asia is no longer confined to borders. It is spreading fast, calculated, and dangerous. The Houthis have now officially entered the Iran war, and their message is clear. If it escalates, they will choke global trade, from missile strikes on Israel to threats of blocking one of the world's most critical shipping lanes. This is no longer just a show of solidarity. This is strategic warfare with global consequences. We bring you a detailed report.
Iran's ally network is now fully activated, and the Houthis are at the forefront. The Yemen-based group launched ballistic missiles towards Israel, coordinating openly with Iran and Lebanon's Hezbollah. The Houthis have fired several missiles targeting Israel.
Our armed forces, with the help of Allah Almighty and in reliance upon Him, carried out the third military operation in the Holy Jihad battle, which targeted, with a salvo of ballistic missiles, sensitive targets of the Israeli enemy in southern occupied Palestine.
But this is just the beginning. The Houthis are now threatening to shut down the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, a narrow but critical waterway that controls access to the Suez Canal. If that happens, global shipping will be hit hard. This development comes just weeks after the Strait of Hormuz was disrupted, a route that handles a fifth of the world's oil. Together, these two choke points form the backbone of global energy and trade, and the Houthis are making it clear that they are ready to turn them into weapons. The Yemen-based group has warned Gulf states against joining the US and Israel in strikes against Iran. But this is not the first time that the Houthis have shown their muscle. Back in 2023, after the Gaza war erupted, they targeted international shipping in the Red Sea, launching missiles at Israel and forced global trade routes to shift. Just last year in April, they also shot down multiple US Reaper drones, each worth millions of dollars, showing their powerful strike capability. As the war widens, the Houthis may hold the power to disrupt not just waterfronts, but the global economy even further.
The world has seen this playbook before. In 2003, the Iraq War was launched over claims of weapons of mass destruction, claims that were later proven wrong, with no stockpiles ever found. As the war with Iran unfolds, 2 decades later, US is using the threat of nuclear weapon as one of the main reasons for its attack. From Baghdad then to Tehran now, the parallels are uncomfortable. Is this history repeating itself, or a lesson US still has not learned? We tell you more.
23 years ago, the world watched a different war begin. A war sold on concrete intelligence. In 2003, Iraq was attacked by the United States on pretext of developing weapons of mass destruction. The nation was destroyed. About 500,000 people died in Iraq as a result of war-related causes between the US-led invasion in 2003 and mid-2011. But the weapons of mass destruction were never found. Now it is happening again. Right now, Iran is under attack. The American reasoning and rhetoric looks familiar. But there is no confirmed evidence of an operational nuclear weapon. Uncertainty remains. President Trump said he has obliterated Iran's nuclear program. Then, after a few days, he changed his tone.
As well as Operation Midnight Hammer, where we totally obliterated Iran's nuclear potential. We obliterated it. They don't have nuclear potential.
Very important, we were just discussing it actually, very important that we take out the nuclear threat from Iran, and we've done that very strongly, very powerfully.
We want to make sure we don't ever allow them to have a nuclear weapon, because they'll use it, and you see how serious they were with the conventional ballistic missiles.
Trump has now gathered about 50,000 troops in West Asia. US is mulling sending in troops to retrieve the nuclear material. Iran's army chief has warned that not a single person should survive if the US attempts a ground operation. The end result of this gamble remains dangerously opaque. Iran is not Iraq. Its military infrastructure is deeply buried. Its allies are raining fire. Iran has tactical patience. Its firepower is burning the entire region, while Iraq was a conventional army easily dismantled. Iran is a fortress of asymmetric defiance. For now, Trump has to make a decision: send in American boots or find a way to end the war.
Israel has legalized the death penalty for Palestinian detainees accused of what Tel Aviv calls terror offenses, a law that allows execution within just 90 days through a military court system and applies only to one race, which is the Palestinians. Critics say this makes it one of the first laws of its kind since Nazi Germany, where capital punishment is codified along ethnic lines. The outrage is spreading fast. 8 Arab and Muslim nations have condemned it as dangerous and discriminatory. We tell you more.
A storm is brewing over a controversial new law in Israel, one that introduces the death penalty for Palestinian detainees accused of terror offenses. The backlash is swift and sharp. Foreign ministers from 8 countries, including Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, and Pakistan, have issued a joint warning. They call the law discriminatory, they call it dangerous, and they say it risks igniting an already tense region. Spain also joined in and condemned the law. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez called it a step towards apartheid. Voices against the new Israeli law are rising around the world. These are images from London. Protesters carrying banners and raised slogans against the Israeli government.
Well, I've come today because I'm so shocked. It's against every international law, and I just think they just can't keep doing things off their own bat. They keep breaking international law with everything they're doing and get away with it.
West Bank observed general strike as ships closed against Israel's death penalty law. The strikes were observed in Hebron and Ramallah, with local residents demanding their freedom. At the heart of the concern is that the law applies only to Palestinians. a 19-day fast track to execution under a military court system with a conviction rate of over 90%.
This fascist and racist legislation embodies the racism of the occupation and how it deals with Palestinians in particular, as it does not apply to Israeli Jews who carry out daily killings of Palestinian civilians through settler actions in Palestinian villages.
Critics say this is not just about security, this is about structure, a legal framework that they argue formalizes discrimination. But the timing of this law is just as critical as its content. It comes amid escalating violence in the West Bank. Thousands of incidents, IDF raids, arrests, displacements in just weeks, entire communities forced out, Israeli settlements expanding. In the last 2.5 years, at least 87 Palestinian detainees have been killed in what human rights organizations describe as a network of torture camps, the highest recorded number since 1967. And in this context, the law is being seen not as an isolated move, but as part of a broader strategy, a strategy critics say that seeks to tighten control over land, over movement, and over the very existence of a people. Supporters of the law argue it is a necessary deterrent against violence. The region watches closely, because this is no longer just about a law, it is about what comes next for Palestinians in West Asia.
Thank you for watching the West Asia Post. I am Rhythm Sharma. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup of stories. Till then, keep watching WION World is One for major global updates.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole.